Hailing frequencies open, and welcome to Star Trek Discoverage, the live podcast that boldly goes into excruciating detail about this week's episode of Star Trek Picard. I'm your host, Aaron Coker, aka Caliban, and if someone asks you if you're a superhero, you say yes! Joining me on the show, as usual, is my co-host. She's also the co-host of the Generations Geek podcast, a more or less family-friendly celebration of geekdom. It's Ella Pearson. Ella, welcome back to Discoverage.
Thank you, Discoverage After Dark.
Discoverage.
The Picard era. Yeah,
Nights.
the second episode of the night, exactly.
That's right.
The night shift.
Yes.
Was that SpongeBob episode?
Was that a SpongeBob episode, the night shift?
Yeah, when he's like, I'm taking out the trash at night.
Oh, and that's different how? It's a different kind of trash?
No, he's doing it at night, so it's special. Right. It's exciting because he has the, excitement for new experiences like a child would have.
Sure. Okay.
It's different.
I think
his routine's different.
And they say SpongeBob's hard to understand. What are they talking about?
Welcome to our SpongeBob podcast.
Well, let's get our other guest in here for our SpongeBob podcast. Returning to the show tonight, she's my co-host on the Just Enough Trope podcast. She's also the host of the Sailor Noob podcast, and she's a frequent contributor to Enterprising Individuals and a guest on Discoverage. It's Mika and Hana. Mika, welcome back to Discoverage.
Hello.
Good to have you return.
To my fellow people who live in a pineapple under the sea.
Yes. Would it blow you away to know that I've never seen an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants?
No, because
Are you being serious?
You found a special unicorn. I never have. Yeah, I know it's been on for like 20 years. Yeah, I've never once.
Well, see,
is that what's wrong with me?
I mean,
yes, clearly. Diane, have you seen SpongeBob?
Oh yeah, but I also have two younger siblings, and it was on. But I mean, I probably would have watched it anyways. But
have you seen Invader Zim?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I like Invader Zim.
Okay, we're good. All right, everybody, we're okay.
I feel Invader Zim. I was like, he's seen Invader Zim. That's like weird. That's like dark and like right. It's like cool to watch Invader Zim.
Yeah,
you're an adult.
But I never.
If you watch SpongeBob when you're like a grown up, it's like. Why is SpongeBob on TV?
I know that it's like cool and for adults and kids, but yeah, I've seen Invader Zim. I was more of a Ren and Stimpy guy though, which really now everybody knows exactly how old I am. So,
and I was never super into Ren and Stimpy. Like my friends were like really into Ren and Stimpy, but I was like, I don't know. There's a lot of fart jokes, and I just was not. Feeling that as a young kid, like there's
like me when I talk about Rick and Morty now. I'm like, I don't know, it's a little icky. It's funny, but it's a little gross.
Yeah. No, that fits.
Yeah.
Mika, is that the kind of thing that we can expect to hear on the Just Enough Trope podcast? Fart jokes.
Where's the SpongeBob episode?
I mean,
that's
sometimes
my question.
We're not like above fart jokes.
Everybody's above fart jokes unless they're standing on their head. We were talking about on the last hour of the show, talking about Oscar-nominated films on recent episodes of Just Enough Trope. Do you have a favorite film that you've seen so far that is up for an Oscar this year?
So this is something that we talked about on the show recently. It's hard. I really like the Lost Daughter a lot, probably because out of the ones that I've seen so far, like it's very disturbing, and it made me feel a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, I appreciated that, and also like the main character is not really a good person, and I feel like you don't see a lot of movies where the protagonist isn't ultimately a good person, or they become a good person, or and that was oddly refreshing.
I don't mean to make this thematic, but I think it fits. Do you think that is something that we are exploring in this current season of Star Trek Picard? We all know that Jean-Luc Picard is the best guy ever.
Yeah.
He is best captain. But I feel like they are suggesting that, it isn't just a change in time. Maybe Picard did something, at some point in his life. When he first meets Q this year, Q talks about how this is atonement, this is forgiveness and repentance is necessary. And so I'm wondering what we're going to learn about Picard and how maybe he's not the perfect man that we know.
I mean, that makes it more interesting, right?
I guess.
Yeah, we do think of him as just being the best captain or at least one of the best. And just super altruistic and the guy you want in your corner. Like, if you need a lawyer, if you
don't get Riker for a lawyer. Not good.
No,
Usually the defendant. Yeah. But if you need a lawyer, Picard's your guy. Yeah. Or accompany you on the flute. Yeah. He's got a lot of great skills. Yes. All right, just something I throw out there before we talk about this next episode of Picard. We don't have any news to talk about this week. I mean, other than what we talked about in the first hour. If you didn't hear, actor Paul Wesley has been cast as James T. Kirk for the second season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I think I got all that right. Any new thoughts have developed in the hour since you've heard the news, either Mika or Ella, on that topic?
I guess Has William Shatner said anything?
Yes.
Does he?
Yeah, he congratulated him, which honestly, I was a little shocked. I was like, okay, Bill.
Yeah.
They exchanged niceties on Twitter. I saw a picture of them. I don't know if it was recently. I don't know why they would take the picture if it wasn't, but they were on a plane together. Apparently they had taken a flight somewhere or were on the same flight. So, yes.
Cute.
That's fun.
He signed off.
That was by accident.
That would be weird.
No, I'm just saying,
Can you imagine?
If you're a young actor, you're on Vampire Diaries, Shatner doesn't know who you are, but you see Shatner and you're like, oh, Mr. Shatner, So this could have been like, I don't know when the picture was taken, but yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself if you saw William Shatner?
Yes.
In the wild?
Oh, okay.
Would you approach the bench?
I'm not an approacher really, which is ironic because we, for Just Enough Trope and for Enterprising Individuals, I've talked to so many celebrities and people, and professionally I'll do it, but personally I'm not really a person that does that. So no. In fact, I have that specific example. It happened in my life. Shatner was here in my town for the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Con, and I was in a position where he was, a couple feet away in another room, and I could have easily just went like, that's the guy, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna bother him. He doesn't want to hear from me. So no, self-esteem very, very low. But I know that's not true of Ella. I know that Ella would steal his wallet for sure.
Yeah. That was. I was.
He's got Priceline money.
And then I would exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think I would approach
Shatner
on that one.
No.
I wouldn't. I have the man who played Vincent Van Gogh on exactly one episode of Doctor Who.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
My father and I saw in the airport after shore leave one time because he was at shore leave, and then he was sitting with I think we approached the bench on that one.
Yeah.
He was very nice, very kind. And then Rekha Sharma came over, who I knew from her one episode of Supernatural, and that was very fun. No, I don't think. I feel like most of my interactions with celebrities are it's like the photo op, the waited in line for the question.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that all. I guess though maybe I should take that back because I did approach the bench. I approached Anson Mount's bench.
Yes.
But that's a success story.
It is.
So
that is.
Yeah. It's more bragging rights.
Yeah, you should brag. You could. I've eaten out on that.
I don't
story.
want to. Now that I've said it, I want to take it back. So you did. I want to take it back because I live my life embarrassed that a Star Trek actor will hear what I've said about them. And so, Mr. Mount, if you're listening, that wasn't me.
I have a lot to pay for this summer when I don't approach the bench for Robert Duncan McNeil. So,
well, I will.
So
I had about 2 gin and tonics over the course of 2.5 hours, and then I was like, let's go.
that
I don't
or
know where the confidence came from.
all right. Well, I'll give you the gin and tonics, and then you can help me meet Summer Glau.
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I can pull it up.
All right. Well, we're making
The other thing,
making plans for the future.
Sometimes he's like, it's a lot easier. My dad's like, I'll let the like young woman, young girl approach the celebrity, and these are his words, and not the old man, right?
Yeah,
like,
all right.
He lets me do the intro. Okay, that came off like I was calling him an old man. I wasn't.
Oh, well, that's fine with me. But
it was a read on my father, but. That's where we are. So I'll do the approaching. We've agreed on that.
Okay.
And now we can talk about Picard instead of me renouncing things that I've said about Star Trek actors. I'll say some things that I won't renounce. Let's move on.
Get him, yeah. I want all the Garrett Wong stories. Just bring it all this way.
Oh, he was so nice to me.
That's how we'll get in there. Well, we've just seen the second episode of the second season of Star Trek Picard, an episode called... this is the third episode, I'm sorry. The third episode called Assimilation. We're here to talk all about it. But first, as always, a warning. We're setting a course for the spoiler zone listeners. So be warned, we're glad you've decided to join us, but spoilers are incoming. The official synopsis for Assimilation is Picard and the crew travel back to 2024 Los Angeles in search of the Watcher, who can help them identify the point at which time diverged. Seven, Raffi, and Rios venture out into an unfamiliar world 400 years in their past, while Picard and Jurati attempt to gather information from an unlikely and dangerous ally. Gosh, that's a real good synopsis. Very, very, that's just very deep, tells you everything you need to know, well written. Good job, whoever wrote that. This episode was written by Kylie Rossiter and Christopher Monfils, and it was directed by Leah Thompson. Yes, that Leah Thompson. The in-universe date for this episode is alternate 2041, 2401, and then, of course, we go back to regular 2024. It all makes sense. Don't worry about it. Some facts about the episode. We've got a new guest star this week. Saul Rodriguez appears as Teresa, who Rios is treated by and meets in the episode. And I think that's about it for facts. What did you guys think about Assimilation? Mika?
I thought it was fun, and I thought it was a good way to... Okay, so I thought last week was fun in like a different way. Like, they were horrified that they were a part of a fascist regime, but they made the best of it. And this week, it's like we're thrown way in the past, which is our near future, and just kind of seeing how they deal with that. Besides Eleanor dying, it was fun. And didn't like that part. But I thought there were some really great comedic and just clever moments in this, like with both teams. I could really appreciate that, and I can, they're building this. More Q, please. But that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, he was just in a little bit tonight. You bring up an interesting point, or at least I'm thinking of an interesting point in relation to what you said, which is the 3 nights or 3 episodes we've had so far have all been kind of different things, haven't they? They've all been their own kind of genre of things. So the first episode is this kind of, remembrance of things past. I'm looking back on my life and I've got regrets, and this character drama. And the second episode is oh my God, we're in the wrong timeline. Like, what do we do? What's happening? And the third episode is like full on Star Trek 4. We're in the past, nuclear vessels, we need money, don't splurge. and it's, I wonder if the next 7 episodes will be them trying to hit like a similar genre or hit a similar tone or beat for all these episodes, because it's worked out great so far, in my opinion. Ella, what'd you think?
I really liked it. I honestly, watching this episode, I was like, I think that Star Trek Picard is like my favorite. I think I'm the most excited to watch this show currently right now.
Yeah.
That's like what I want to watch.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I did want Agnes to swing that big wrench when the Borg Queen was doing the horror movie thing.
Yeah.
But besides that, the favorite grade. That part, I was like, we got to back up. But
Yeah.
Obviously loved the part where Elnor died. That was my favorite part. That was really, I was not speaking out loud to my TV. I did keep it under control.
Yeah, poor Elnor. I mean, like, I guess
I know.
looking back, you can kind of see it coming when they talk about, oh, you've just joined Starfleet, you got 15,000 days till retirement. Like, something bad was going to happen to him. But I hope that Q steps in. He goes to the penalty box, or maybe gets a side story or something like that. I hope that I feel bad for the actor. Like, does he have another project? Like, he's just out. So hopefully that will continue. I want him to put a little stocking cap on, like Spock would or Tuvok would in this period.
Yes.
I don't think Q would, I feel like Q, when he's changed the past, I feel like when they go back to their time and their future, I think that Elnor will be back. I don't think Q, he's kind of annoying, right? But he's not no matter how much smack talk he's giving Picard about penance or whatever, it's he's not gonna kill.
No, he's a little cinnamon roll. Yeah.
Maybe half a cinnamon roll. I don't know, and the other half is what's like a jalapeno. It's not that spicy.
Jalapeno cinnamon rolls. This show's over. I gotta get to work on this.
Cut the cameras.
Yeah.
I have so many good ideas for this episode.
That can't go out. Little worried about him. Also, you're telling me you're going to slingshot around the sun and we're not going to get giant CGI heads. Come on, what's going on here? But I did like how they went back into the past, and I liked how at this point in Star Trek we've seen this a lot, and so I like the fact that they are freaked out by it, but I felt like they found a good way to have this, as we've seen, already very capable, experienced crew go, all right, we have to. It's more of like a hassle for them to have to do this than oh my God, what do we do? And I like the shorthand of Girardi's, watch out for butterflies. People understand what that means, and they get to it. When you think about it, Picard's please, I've done this in Jack London times in San Francisco. This is not my first trip to past Earth. Mark Twain was there. I don't want to talk about it. So, and they kept him, kind of because of that, they kept him on the sidelines. And so I thought that his scenes with Girardi and the Queen were a really interesting kind of B story, or maybe the A story, I don't know, to the rest of our crew going out into LA proper. And once they got there, it was kind of neat, splitting them up and seeing Girardi and Seven, Raffi and Seven, who at this point, we also know Seven knows what she's doing. She's not going to be beep boop, I don't understand. In fact, are you guys getting this kind of idea that I was getting? But it kind of seems like Seven kind of likes it here. Maybe we'll have a thing where Seven's
yes.
I don't know if I want to go home. I'm normal here, and people seem to like me. And I thought that was.
I was going to say, I think she likes not having her Borg implants in.
Yeah.
I think in her heart, I feel like it's a big part of her identity, but I also feel like everyone judges her the second they see her.
Yeah.
Right in their time, because she's got the Borg implants, whatever, and so I think that she's enjoying I'm just a lady.
This era could
has a Dyson Airwrap.
Yeah, and she could, she gets a Shamrock Shake. She sees a little Real Housewives, and she's like, let's just hang out here. This is pretty good.
I actually also had that thought about Rios. Besides, loved that he was when he got transported, it was done in a comedic way.
Don't get arrested, don't go to the hospital, and then bam, hospital, then arrested.
And then arrested.
Why did they do him like that? That was vicious.
It was vicious. I was laughing, and then I was like, oh my God, he's bleeding.
I thought he was going to get up, and then I was like, oh, that's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't know, meets this kind of interesting doctor, and she's not taking any of his crap. She tells him to tell her a story, and she just breaks his hands and puts them into place.
So,
and then
yeah.
and then real peanut butter. I don't know.
That was funny.
We need a pool for who is most likely to remain in the past when they go back to the future. And I think the leader in the clubhouse is, I think it's Rios, but I think Seven is up there too. Maybe Rios could have a, he's stepping on all the butterflies, because if he has a relationship with this woman, he gets in a Time Rider scenario where he is his own great 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 grandpa or something like that, like Bashir was worried about. And so, yeah, I think he and Seven are the leaders in the clubhouse right now for sticking around after this is over.
I
feel
so
like
too.
Seven, I guess, I don't know. I was going to say, I feel we haven't really seen much of her and Rafi as like a couple, but I was going to say, like, assuming that they have a beautiful, loving, close relationship, I would be surprised if she chose to stay versus like Rios, because I feel like Rios is like, oh, I'm like, I'm out here smoking cigars.
Right.
And so I can kind of see him staying more. Also, that short story with where he steps on the butterfly, I have like a vivid memory of reading that. Like after my bedtime, right?
Yeah.
At my grandma's, I take the book off my grandpa's shelf and I'm reading it under the nightlight. Little spooky.
Yeah.
Little spooky.
The sound of thunder.
Say.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, I think that Rios is, I think he's gonna get in trouble, but that's
he
fine.
already has.
I was gonna say he's already in trouble. He was like, immigration who?
Yeah, right.
ICE.
Yeah.
I don't know them. I was like, you have less paperwork than an illegal immigrant. Like literally, like there's nothing, no documents, nothing.
Well, he's got an ID chip, like a pet, I guess, and a vaccination implant.
He's microchipped.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about
the vaccination implant. Is that like they just like what's the implant? They just magic the.
So
they science the medicine. It's
they
the
science the science
every time.
I like the idea of that. I don't think this is necessary.
Never need a vaccination again.
Right. You always just assume like off screen,
nice.
Dr. Crusher is just, giving people vaccinations or whatever. But the idea that they have an implant, it's like, oh, is it like a technological implant? Because they don't seem to like, bionic and cybernetic stuff.
It's like 100%.
Or is it like,
it covers you against all diseases?
Yeah. Like, do they give everybody an artificial organ that like creates its own antibodies to something that you're exposed to? But then nobody would ever get
the appendix,
Rigelian fever or whatever. So you have to be careful when you do stuff like this. All right. Speaking of paperwork, where are the gimmies? Where are the dims? Where are the ghosts? LA might not be a sanctuary town or a sanctuary district, but do you think that they are? We're in 2024 in Star Trek. Do you think that they are pointedly going to introduce elements from past tense into this? Gimmies, dims, Craig Howard, what's his name? Ron Howard's brother. Are we going to be visiting those elements? Because you don't go to this time period without really wanting to do that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I don't know. I mean, is that why they picked 2024? I wasn't really sure why, like, if they're going to go so close to where the time we're in right now, why not just do 2022?
Right.
Like, or are they trying to like, well, this isn't happening yet, but this is in your near future? Or is that what they're doing? Or
let me throw this out there. Who is the Watcher? What's the change that was made? Maybe they're reversing the change that Sisko made in 2024 when he became Gabriel Bell and instigated the Bell riots.
Do you think we're gonna get Sisko?
I don't know how he could.
I don't.
But if you can,
right?
But if you can make flashback, if you can make Trials and Tribulations, in the 90s, you could take footage and CGI it up, and with Avery Brooks's permission, or maybe they don't need his permission, I don't know. You could have something like that. And I know that's in San Francisco. Yeah. This is in LA. I'm just trying to give food for thought here.
Right.
They didn't.
I mean,
didn't they? What did they? What was the line about Cisco? Was it last week or the week before?
They did mention Cisco last week. Yeah, they said that General Cisco was doing something, in the Vulcan War.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I guess they didn't have to name drop him.
That's
if
true.
We're gonna put our tinfoil hats on. They
That's-
didn't
and
have
we-
to say General Cisco.
Like Clint
were already
Howard's
name
character,
dropping
we absolutely
other-
will.
They were already name dropping what Gul Dukat in that scene. There was lots of name dropping happening.
Mhm.
Cisco wasn't necessary.
Mhm.
So
True.
I mean,
I will lose it if I see Cisco on screen. I just don't
Plus,
expect me on Zoom.
Cisco's
that
a time
night.
god
Just
now
running.
anyway. He can
I'll
just
be
show up.
running down the street.
Yeah,
Oh my god, you're right.
Cisco could just show up. So
That's true.
I felt
I
like
feel like going to 2024 is like it's a way to be like, oh, it's 2 years in the future. California's on fire.
Right.
But so it's like things can be a little different, but they don't have to be like very different.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just covering their story butts as far as it's not exactly the same.
I guess, if you wanted to do, again, the reason that they're going to the second decade of the 21st century is it's cheap to shoot, right? I mean, that's really why they're doing it.
Yeah,
I think if they wanted to, I just think it has to do with the past tense. I think it has to. I mean, that's why they dropped Cisco's name. That's why we're in 2024. If you were going to pick another time to go back to, you could go back to like the 90s or the 80s, some point of divergence that already kind of exists or we assume exists, because I know like Greg Cox did a lot of work in his books to like show that the Eugenics Wars were a secret war and not like Khan was like in charge of like, all of Asia or something like that. But we already know that like at some point, God willing, Star Trek will be around in another 30 years. The bombs of World War III should have fallen by then. And, Star Trek is an alternate universe at this point, of divergence. So they could have maybe gone back to whatever they chose, like that point where our real life timeline and the Star Trek timeline kind of split. If it's, I was plugged for my own show, Enterprising Individuals. I was reading Nicholas Meyer's autobiography, The View from the Bridge. And he was talking about how when they were making, I didn't know this, when they were making Star Trek VI, of course, you make a movie years before the movie comes out. And so they were making this movie, which is about essentially like the fall of the Russian, of the USSR, before the coup in the USSR happened. And so while they're in production on this film about this leader whose name starts with a G, who wants to have glasnost and perestroika with the West, that happened. The failed coup happens in USSR, and like the studio boss comes to him and is like, "Can we get this movie out right now?" And he's like, "No, we have to finish the movie." But it was a very interesting and fascinating parallel. Like something was in the air that they felt like a story like this was ready. Now, unfortunately, he also talks in the book about how the end of history, as Fukuyama depicted, didn't happen because 9/11 happened, and then the whole war on terror happened, and we kind of went into our own alternate universe. But assuming they live in a future where World War III did happen, like, is there a USSR still in there 2024? I don't know. Star Trek is an alternate universe.
That's
Chernobyl
true, and
never
that's a good
blew,
point.
dude.
So anyway, I doubt it. I think that this is probably an attempt by them to use all the good stuff from past tense, but also everybody's got smartphones and just make sure that, their Star Trek history looks like our present. That's what I think. What's the Europa mission? What is it? It's in this, and they say Europa in Discovery as well.
I know.
And not that movie Europa Report, which is not a good sci-fi movie. Sorry.
Come on.
Oh, well.
It'd be really cool if we got Cisco, though.
Yeah. But if we don't mention it at all, otherwise, I want to say nice directing by Leah Thompson. I thought she did a really good job. Yeah. I thought that there were some, they say like technical stuff like good directing isn't something you notice necessarily. And I wouldn't say that it was like something that really stood out, but I thought that there was some nice setups that she did, some very specific things that were interesting kind of staging. And I wasn't familiar with the rest of her work, but I hope that she comes back and does more. It was really nice.
Yeah, I think she did a good job,
I really loved it. Yeah. And I think you're right. But like really good directing, I think like I think you can make the argument that you don't notice it. Like a really good directing, you like almost wouldn't know unless you're like looking for it. If you're watching a movie and you're completely stitched in and you're not like, you're just experiencing it. And like,
yeah.
I went to film school, so.
Wow. I every week it is a roller coaster ride for me and Agnes Girardi, a character who I alternately completely despise, and then I'm right back on board, and then she does something else, and I'm like, ugh, and then she does something else, and I'm like, yeah. And this week was no different. Why do you like her so much, Ella?
I think I like some of her lines are a little bit cheesy, borderline, not to say chuggy, but perhaps a little chuggy. But I like that she's a little bit of a train wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's very smart, a very smart scientist, very capable. They had the phasers out, but she was like, I'm plugging stuff in.
Right. Yeah.
She's ready to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like that she's not completely the nerdy scientist. You know what I mean? Like she's brave. She's like, I'm gonna go in there with the Borg Queen. Even though she was just having the pants scared off her 2 minutes ago, and the Borg Queen was going after
that was scary. I think I know what it is. It's that there isn't often a point of view character for a modern audience in Star Trek. It's one of the things I've always liked about Star Trek is that everybody in the future, every once in a while, they'll talk about how those apes in the 20th century loved, watching TV or whatever.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, or monster trucks.
Watching a movie?
And there isn't often a character who's supposed to be, us looking at the future and going, wow, it's the future. And I feel like a lot of times she is set up as the character who's going to ask the questions or go, I can't believe this is happening. And I don't want that character in Star Trek. And she's only that once in a while. And then she is either super capable doing the science techie tech thing, or she is providing like a different perspective that nobody else in the show could have because they're not a genius, robotic scientist. And I really liked the flip that they did with her and the Borg Queen, where she's got the thing, and then she's like, "Tell me about the thing. What's the thing again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the address? Is this where she is? Yeah, I know the whole thing," and shut her down. And so like that was a really great moment for her. But then when they said that she was gonna, all my subconscious feelings are gonna come out, I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait for this scene. This is gonna be great. Agnes is being wacky, everybody, but it wasn't that bad.
I loved.
I did think.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Mika, you go. You're the guest.
I've already done my
No,
bit.
I loved when like they were talking alternatively, or alternately.
Whose hand is this?
Whose hand is this?
It's mine.
And they're mine. That was great and unexpected. And I love things like that. And it was really funny. And it's not like the Borg Queen was trying to be funny, but
you
got
some humor on
some humor in there.
Some humor on the Borg Queen, sure.
Yeah.
I also feel like Picard this season, kind of is a grandpa. It not in a bad way. And I'm really enjoying it, but sometimes I'm like, that's an old man to be still he's like, yeah, we'll just warp around the sun. My bones are fine.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and so I think especially in that scene where he's just like, whose hand is this? What are we doing? It's like, it's like, okay, come on. Like, even though I know he's obviously still smart in there, he's Picard in there, he's not losing his grip or whatever. But it's funny because it's like, little worried about you, bestie.
Oh, Shaka, when the walls fell. Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Exactly.
Come on.
Oh no, literally, that's gonna be me.
Well, now that we're in the 20th or the 21st century, I guess you can get all kinds of point of view crazy references like Rick and Morty. Excited.
That was odd, right?
Excited to have Rick and Morty shouted out. I was telling Mika off the air that get ready. there will be a Elon Musk reference, and he will be referenced positively in the show. There's no way that's not going to happen. And I feel like I get half a point this week because Elon Musk was on Rick and Morty. He guest starred on it. And it's like a similar energy, but something's going to happen.
That's what I was going to say.
They're going to ride in a Tesla
energy.
and go, this is great. Wow, and it's got a little computer screen. Something like that's going to happen.
Yeah, probably.
They'll escape.
Well, and I think
at one point they have to get away, and they'll do it through the boring tunnels, through his little Tesla tunnels in L.A. or something like that.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Mika.
No, you were saying like what if like they just said, no more SpongeBob instead, and we were talking about SpongeBob on the
right. Well, yeah, but
the earlier show.
Right,
So
SpongeBob,
relevant.
But SpongeBob is like a Paramount Viacom property, and Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is Warner Brothers, so why are they like carrying water for another company's show? And I guess
they're not going to say it no more SpongeBob because all the SpongeBob all the time.
Right.
On Paramount Plus, right?
And like Rick and Morty, like every episode of Rick and Morty is a pastiche of some other thing. So in this universe, Rick and Morty can only pastiche Paramount properties, right? So like they're doing like a Citizen Kane thing or something like that. But yeah, there's no.
Well, they did the
there's
Nightmare
no Space
on
Jam
Elm Street
2
thing.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was New Line Cinema, right?
Okay, right.
Yeah. So maybe that's fair game. I don't know. We're getting low on time here, so let's talk about this ends kind of open-ended. Obviously, we're heading to the next thing. Where do you think that we are heading in the future, either long-term or short-term? And let's start with Ella.
Okay. Short-term, I feel like, and I'm not saying this because I had a joke about this a couple of episodes, one or two episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like short term, we're gonna get some more very timely 2024 references. I feel like I feel some police violence coming. And by police violence, I mean I think that Rios is gonna beat the crap out of some police officers.
Okay.
And long term, I don't know if I agree. You earlier were like, oh, I wonder if they're going to keep doing this, like it's like sort of a different thing every episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're really just gunning for the full Star Trek 4 experience here, like minus most of the comedy, right?
Okay.
Because that's a comedy film.
There was a lot of there was funny stuff in this episode.
Yeah. But also, very tragic death scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Long term, I don't know what else for long term, because I don't know what long term. I think we're gonna have some more Q stuff. I think we're gonna have to team up with the Borg Queen. I don't think she'll have a redemption, but I think there's gonna be another linking, whatever you want to call
Interesting.
it. Yeah.
Assuming that, well, this isn't the same Borg Queen.
Do you think Q's gonna die? I'll scream.
Oh my gosh.
Possibly. But, before all this happened and they blew up and went to the alternate universe, the Borg, they said they wanted to join the Federation. And so whether that was a tactic on their part or what, I don't know. So maybe there is a redemption arc for the Borg Queen. Maybe.
That seems so sus, though, because she was like, I want to join the Federation, and then she was like, I have tentacles in your computer.
Yeah, I just want to see her get her glow back. They need to, get the KY jelly out and just, keep your Borg Queen moist.
Highlighter.
Yeah, or that too. Mika, what do you think's coming up in the future on the show?
Tanner.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's LA. Yeah.
Me every day before this podcast.
Yeah. I guess I'm a little worried about who's gonna find Rios's badge at the clinic, especially since
the cops, dude.
Picard was trying to talk to it. So is somebody gonna be like, what is this?
I think the kid takes it home and we have a Galaxy Quest situation where they have to call the kid
would be
and
fun.
He's got to look something up on the internet and they have to do that for him.
Oh, see, I would actually like that. I think that would be fun.
And then we could do. Then we're literally doing a parody of Star Trek on Star Trek.
Nice. A parody of Star Trek. A parody of Star Trek.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't want to rewind.
Do you think the comm badge is smart enough to just like not
like keep it on the door?
Put it on speaker?
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, I'll send that straight to voicemail for him.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be great. I just don't know that we've ever seen that.
Hold on, my chest is vibrating.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if right now, currently, my iPhone transcribes my voicemail for me, so I never have to answer the spam calls. I feel like the comm badge can just like, maybe not right now while ICE is here.
Yeah.
Maybe we wait.
ICE detector.
Now is not a good time.
ICE detector. Oh my God.
It's one thing I don't want to go back in time, but something we didn't mention is that I like, or at least I'm intrigued by the dynamic that they're setting up with Raffi and Picard, where after the first season, we had to sort of heal this relationship between them, where she felt kind of betrayed and abandoned by him, and we assume that that's taken care of. And now in the second season, she's already off on this new bad foot because Elnor dies, and I'm with Raffi on this one. I mean, I know that there's like business to take care of, but you've got 400 years to figure this out, right? Or at least some time, and everybody is immediately doing their job, and she's just really mad. And it was an interesting sort of tack to take with Picard, where it's like, oh, you what do you do with Q? You play little games with the universe, and you're going back to the beginning of life on Earth, and you're putting your hand in the thing, and you're getting stabbed in the chest, and that's all you like to do, which is a mischaracterization, but it would be easy to, in that state, think about it that way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How can you like toy with our lives like this? Right. So I'm looking to see, what happens with that. I think that's cool.
I was cool like too. that scene where Raffi was going off at him. I was like, yes, call him an old man. Like I was like, get him.
I'm Robin Hood. I'm shooting the bow.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, there's a feather in my cap. We're at the Renaissance Festival.
Right.
I also was like, Picard. I feel like he's been through enough. He's seen enough where he's like, it's not like Raffi is really gonna hurt his feelings saying all that stuff, because he's like, well, Elnor just died. She's angry, he's an old man. He's gonna, he's a grandpa. He's gonna understand what's going on, which I think made me feel better about her getting after him. I was like, get him.
Yeah.
Let's say it. Get him.
He needs to hear this.
Medallion at him. You left him with the co-op a lot. And now
Yes.
I'm having myself sad with that one. Anyways.
I know.
Now he's at absolute 0 in the freezer.
Oh, no.
Let's move on.
Okay, so I wasn't going to bring up that they have the body bags and the corpse drawers ready to go, but like, why do we have the body bag and the
alternate timeline? La Serena is a creepy ship. It is a weird ass ship.
I think we have confirmed that. Yeah. Also, there was like not a lot of med supplies for some reason, and
plenty of Nazi uniforms in the closets. They have all the gear you need. Right. So send that to Ukraine.
No, stop.
Don't
do that.
Let's wrap up. Everybody, last thoughts, final thoughts? Mika, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I think that we're, gosh, I hope Elnor is going to come back, and I'm with Raffi. Let's just do this. Let's just do the thing that makes him come back.
Let's find the Watcher. Let's find Jeffrey Wright and get this figured out.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And I think that I guess maybe this is obvious, but I think she views Elnor kind of like a son to her, and since her relationship to her own son is very strained, I think that losing Elnor was just that much harder for her. And they were so close, and he trusted her and had a lot of respect and admiration for her. And, so yeah, I really hope that works out well. And if it does, I don't think that there's any chance that Raffi is going to want to stay in 2024.
Yeah.
I'm putting my money down on Raffi not wanting to stay.
Although, speaking of superheroes, she's pretty good at taking out muggers. So maybe
That's true.
she's got a future in that.
I was gonna say she really knew her way around that gun.
Yeah, that's true.
She got the magazine out of that gun very quickly.
Yeah. She's
Like-
she's every show's got to have a character that's I love the ancient weapons, like Sulu gets a revolver and he's just like, wildly firing it around. Look at that. That's great.
You know what I would have loved to see though? I'd have loved her to be like, "Are you serious? You're gonna fire a projectile weapon at me?" And then she disarms him, and then it's like a, it's like a two-finger,
like, no.
into the garbage.
So uncivilized. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, 2024, all right.
Well, you crazy 2024. Well, I think that's it for our show this week, and thanks for joining us, listeners, for our talk about Picard. If you like what you hear, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at EISTPOD to get updates and get notified when new episodes of both Enterprising Individuals and this show, Discoverage, are released. You can tweet to us on the show by using the hashtag Discoverage or email us at EISTPOD@gmail.com. And while you're on the internet, why not head to your listening platform of choice and subscribe to our show feed. Give us a rating and a review because it really helps us out. And if you want to help the show grow, stop by our Patreon page at patreon.com/EISTpod. And as always, if you like the show, tell a friend. Discoverage will return on March 24th at 8 p.m. for the 4th episode, the next episode of Star Trek Picard's second season. We don't know anything about the episode yet, but we've got a few guesses. We'll be here next Thursday to cover it. We'll be going live once again at 8 p.m. Central, so you can join us then. And follow us on Twitter or Facebook at EISTpod to get notified when we're live and broadcasting. Also follow us here on Twitch as well. In the meantime, check out our main show, Enterprising Individuals, at enterprisingindividuals.com. Every Wednesday on the show, I and a special guest discuss in excruciating detail a selected film from the Star Trek franchise. Tackling the films next year, and up next is Star Trek 3. So you can find that show at enterprisingindividuals.com. Ella, thanks as always for joining me to talk about tonight's episode of Discovery, and remind people where they can find you online.
My home podcast is called Generations Geek. I do it with my dad. We talk about anything and everything. I've been mentioning the past couple episodes that I have a campaign to get my dad to watch Twilight.
Yes.
So we love that. Again, this is exactly the right audience to tell to tweet at my dad to watch Twilight. I know that everyone who listens to this podcast has obviously seen all 5 Twilight movies. They are Team Edward or Team Jacob. They know.
Right.
Otherwise, we also both just watched the new Dune movie. So probably we will end up doing a Dune episode before a Twilight episode. And guess who is in the original Dune movie? Do you know who it was?
Patrick Stewart?
It was Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Which I didn't know.
He plays Gurney.
Gurney Halleck, which is great. I haven't seen that one yet, but that's what's coming up.
It's a weird one. It's David Lynch.
Yeah.
I know my dad. I called my dad when he said that he had watched Dune because I thought it was so impressed. I didn't watch it until I finished the book, and then I thought the movie was just phenomenal. And I called my dad, and then he was like, "Well, David Lynch for the 1980 or whatever," and I was like, "David Lynch?
What? Yeah.
Did the first Dune movie?"
Yeah.
So I have to watch it.
Yeah, he's in it too. He plays one of the he drives one of the sandcrawlers or whatever. He's got a cameo role in it.
Like a harvester?
Yep. There's a scene where he's like, "Oh, we gotta get this spice out of here."
Like at the beginning when they're on Arrakis, when the worm is coming.
Yeah.
And the thing's falling in, and he's driving the.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He's a performer as well as a director.
Interesting. We're in full Dune mode over here, so I will restrain
the
rest of my I'll restrain the rest of my questions. But
okay, all right.
That's fascinating.
Mika, it's always great to have you on the show. And where can people find you online?
Thanks for having me. You can find me at Mikan Hana on Twitter and justenough.trope.com.
And what's coming up on Just Enough Trope in the future? Yeah,
so we are continuing to watch Oscar films nominated for Oscars this year. And this week, it's an Oscar doubleheader. I'll be watching and talking about Belfast, and then you'll be talking about Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you got the better end of that deal, but we do what we have to do. So,
We do.
So yeah, tune in to hear us talk about what is almost definitely going to win a lot of Oscars and a movie that Adam McKay did, the guy from Anchorman. You can find that at Just Enough Trope on Twitter. And that is it for us and for the show this week. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is Aaron for Mika and Ella saying, live long and prosper.